the phenomenon. Disco Vietnam, the phenomenon. Zilla Rocca, he phenomenon. What we rockin' on? Disco Vietnam, the phenomenon. Zilla Rocca, real refined iodine. Einstein, remind mine, this is prime time. Shot sprayed like Tony Gwynn, line drives. Closed down the motels, Atlantic City hotels. Never had the cosign, never ride the coattails. Yo, we made the world pay its bill. If the devil takes me, may he leave me with the house on the hill. The foolish grin, keep it perfectly still. My upside is worth the downside. My hero stays sharp or calcified. Honing in with the falcon's eye. Bonsai plants on the mountainside. Peaceful as the day your fucking album died. We never died, we resurrected. Too much invested, my demise will be expensive. 1, 2, take your pick. 3, 4 in the mix. 5, 6, Vegas Vic, rolling 7 sevens. 1, 2, take your pick. 3, 4 in the mix. 5, 6 Vegas Vic, rolling 7 sevens. 1, 2, take your pick. 3, 4 in the mix. 5, 6 Vegas.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice. I'm here.
Cool
Well,
beans.
look at that. Look at that background. Looking good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in a rush to get everything together this morning because I was being lazy as hell. I'm not a morning person.
Oh, what time is it over there?
It's like 10:30 in the morning, but
Oh shit.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, I already hit the record and everything.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's funny. I just paid some chick on Fiverr to chop up your album review of mine, so there's gonna be a ton of clips of that.
Oh, that's dope. How is I've been thinking about using Fiverr too, but
It's great.
Yeah, just have somebody produce the content for you. What is it like? A couple dollars for it?
I mean, this girl's $20 to give me like 30 clips.
Oh wow. Yeah. I'm so bad at social media for everything. Like we never promote, we just post it on the channel, and it probably has a lot to do with the slow growth, but
That's okay.
We just can't be concerned with like scrolling the timeline, man. That shit is
I know.
just too much for me. I tapped into Twitter. Somebody sent me a link to look at something on Twitter, and I found myself scrolling for about 5 minutes, and I was like, this is making me a worse person. I'm seeing the worst takes here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been on it every day for like 15 years, so imagine my brain.
I like 15 years ago, I was on it, and then I just kind of, at a certain point, I was done, and that was a long time ago. But
Good.
I saw that Alaska was saying that call out cultures, like you guys are removing your social
we
media,
killed our
your
Twitter feed. Yeah, we just have IG and then our Patreon and Discord. You know what I mean?
Okay,
That's it.
There was that mass exodus that, well, I don't know if it was a mass exodus, but a lot of people said they were moving to what is it, Blue Sky or Threads or something?
Yeah, Blue Sky's a disaster. It's even worse. It's like liberal catastrophizers over there.
Oh,
And before all this even jumped off.
yeah.
So it was already crazy back then when it went live. But Twitter's fun, all it shows me is like comic books, Sixers, rap. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I see. I don't see anything else.
Yeah, like even with Instagram, I get pissed off because like I try to curate my friends list and everything. My page is private, but it's still like sponsored posts, somebody you might know, recommended, somebody's dinner plate, and I'm just like, all right, this is like not conducive.
We
to
gotta make a new
lifestyle.
one, bro. We gotta bring MySpace back or like Tumblr. I don't know, bro. We gotta do something.
All I do is Reddit because it's like fairly anonymous and like there's
Good
not
call.
like sponsored posts like that.
Right.
I literally don't know anybody on there. I might recognize a name and be like, oh, that's the guy that runs the Japanese adult video porn spot. I know him.
Hell yeah. All right.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
That's fire.
But,
Let's do it, man. This will be cool.
yeah. I'm really excited to chop it up with you.
Hell
It's
yeah.
been a long time coming. I've talked to Castro in Alaska, I think twice now, and
Nice.
just waiting for it to happen. But I'm real happy. Congratulations on the success of the new album, man. Fast
you.
Eddie with Disco Vietnam.
Yes, sir.
We did the review about it, and we really liked it. I was really happy that Deza liked it because Deza is not like he's not like an old hip hop head or a weirdo
Right.
hip hop head like
Yes.
like me and like Jet. So sometimes I don't know where he's going to land on things. If he's going to be like, oh, this is a little bit too simple, or this
Right.
is, and he was like, yeah, I really fuck with it, and talking about going back to the music. So I was like, hell yeah, man, that's fucking
Yeah.
perfect.
That was very encouraging.
Yeah.
That's great. I like that that you guys have you guys have a different approach from your ages to your the styles you like, and it's not just groupthink of like, oh,
Yeah.
this is the person everyone loves, we love it, or this is the person that no one's checking for. Like it's really cool to see the variety of takes, and then but also incredibly very thoughtful listener. So that warms an old bastard's heart over here.
Yeah, we we don't really like album review channels. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like, sometimes it's cool, but we were faced with something like the first year. I don't know if you remember. Like El Spade was our guy, and El Spade
Mm.
was like kind of a curmudgeon, didn't like anything, especially not into underground hip hop, didn't know anybody. And it was
That's
just
the
like,
best though. That's fun. Those are the most
it
fun
was
people.
fun. Like the first video we did was Arm and Hammer, and he's like, "This is just word salad," and I'm just like in awe. Like, what the fuck? Like, do you not know how to listen to? And people like that. People, we
Mhm.
got a lot of listens when he was doing it. But at a certain point, I was just like, these are small independent artists and stuff like
Right.
that, and I don't really want to be the only channel reviewing something and it have
Right.
like negative takes on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
so when Spade left, it kind of organically changed to us just only giving praise to music for the most part,
There you
unless
go.
it was like a big artist, so we could be like, yeah, fuck
Mhm.
Kendrick, like this is kind
Right,
of
right,
bullshit.
right.
Like, he's got 1 million listeners anyways, but I don't want to be on there with somebody being like, yo, AJ Spade raps poorly. And I'm like, yeah, I don't
Yeah.
agree with you, but
No.
also like, come on, this is my man's livelihood. But
Right.
so now all of our reviews are, we review albums and it's mostly glowing. That's trying to find the things that make
Mhm.
this person special, the lineage where they come from, and,
Right.
and why it's interesting. So,
Hell yeah.
I think people are more interested in the bad takes, but like in the stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Everyone likes a good train wreck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
It's clear. It's clear our society is tilted towards that. And me too. I'll be
Yeah.
rubbernecking when the bad shit happens too sometimes.
You
but-
better believe when Pitchfork
Yeah.
mattered, I would read those like 1.0 reviews of Childish Gambino and whoever else they were rocking on. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I miss kind of like super critical journalism that
Mhm.
was just sharper and didn't seem like a lot of times now I'd be critical for like, oh, this person is talking, some morally it's terrible. But yeah, sometimes you just got to be like, yo, we're giving this Mars Volta album a 3 and be like, whoa. Yeah, but cool, man. Like, how's the success of how's the reception and success of Fast Eddie been for you?
It's been really cool. Me and Castro talk about this a lot off air. How you just never know what people are gonna like, what that you like when you come out, and every time you hear a record from me, it probably got started like 2 years before. So I drop every year, but because I'm always just making stuff, there's like a big curation gestation, sit with it for a while type of vibe. And so when you put it out, you're like, man, I mean, I started this like in 2022, 23, something like that. And like your life changes. I'll hear certain things on the record. I'm like, oh man, like this is a lot different now. And so now when you put it out and people want it, and they're reviewing it, and like shouts to HHV in Germany, they keep grabbing it and stocking it for the overseas crowd, which is really fun. And I dropped it like right at the end of the year as people were already making their best of lists and their, Spotify wrapped. And I was just like, you know what? Like, I want to drop it on Black Friday. That'd be a fun time to do it. And then just kind of ride it into 2026. So I was like, all right, I'll spend 2025 teasing singles, do the mixtape. Then I'll drop, like 1 or 2 more singles from the record, drop the full thing, and just have that between the mixtape and the record to have things for people to catch in a moment or catch up later. And that's totally cool with me, because I remember as a kid, like, when you get like CDs for Christmas and tapes and just wanting that all that time at the end of the year and beginning of the next year, like to just immerse in records. So that was kind of like in the back of my mind, a way to do it, and just, I don't care about lists or, like it doesn't mean anything to me. I've been on lists in the past. It's fantastic to be acknowledged, but I would always be like number 48 on like the 50 best albums. You know what I mean? Like number 37 on the 50 best. Okay, great. I never kind of cracked that anyway, so I'm like, well, whatever. Who cares?
Sure. It's also, these lists, they're never indicative of like the style or even the type of demographic that you
Right.
necessarily want to be sitting in anyways. Like, I'm sure that, even though you're surrounded by the kind of entire like ecosystem of dope independent rappers with Backwoods and you
Right.
Alaska and Castro. Like it's not like the Billy Woods guys who are, you know, twisting their mustache trying to figure out all of these deep things are going to you for the exact same reason. So
Right.
yeah, but we gave up on doing lists too, because I was just like, I can't quantify these, and I don't care to rate it like 1, 2, 3. I like this album, like I listened to it all summer, I loved it, and it's like it's winter now. I was like, I don't,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With your album, that's how I kind of took it. Like we got it early, you know, I put it on, play it. It's like it's on my thing for 2 days, and then I go to something else, and then like, let me go back to that and kind of like sit with it and let it grow. And when I really started making my notes on it, I was like, okay, like I see some things here is why it's keep on coming back to me and why I keep on wanting that you know that experience again. You know, you mentioned kind of in the notes and the liner notes and everything, and also just noticing the refinement. As I was telling Jed and Des, I was like, man, you're so precise and so clean the way you land on beats and the way you ride beats. Yeah, I kind of trailed off, forgetting where I was gonna go, but
Cool.
that kind of refinement. Like, is that something that you were thinking? Like, this is a really refined piece of music for me in my catalog of music. Like, I've gotten better at this, or
That's a good question. That's man, and I really appreciate that in the review when you guys said that word. Even like me and Barry text each other. We were like refinements. You know what I mean? Like, I felt like a sommelier or something.
right? You gotta,
You know what?
Yes.
I mean, it's when we go into the record. I mean, you know, I went from the Stack and Chips record with Griff, which was to me like a Cool Kids mixtape vibe with Chuck English, like embracing like the Chicago Griff with the big bass and the bombacity, and then tying in like the personality of Shells. He was like a real loud, big guy with big personality. And then we did Money Has No Owners with you can see that escape deck right behind me. Shouts to Chong Wizard. So we did that one. That was like more Chong really wanted to go like extremely soulful with the beats. He didn't want to do, he was sick of like the dark Griselda, like rolling piano vibe and like the drumless. Like he was he had a very clear mission with production on that record. And so then when we made this one, me and Disco Vietnam, it was like I think I was wrapping up. I was like I forget where I was in the process with those two records, but he was just like he was like, yo, all he ever says is like bangers, like all bangers. That's all that matters. And when he says bangers, it's like, okay, the drums are knocking, you know, the melody's catchy, it's memorable. I think like that's what he brings to the table first and foremost. So there's a lot of ways you could be memorable, right? You can have memorable hooks or memorable features or bars or artwork, whatever that is. So I think the refinement was more from his side because he's been making beats probably, I don't know, like 15 years or so. And he gets in a space where he just makes a ton of stuff and then he chills for a while. He'll throw out a lot of stuff I send him. He'll just trash it. He'll be like, nah, I don't like it, you know, or like you do it again, or I'll do it again. Like, I don't like that beat. Like he's making him the producer and executive producer as well for this record is more of like his refinement of an album with me. So he had never produced, you know, a full project for someone. Like I did another podcast, shouts to Sam from Red River Podcast, and I was like, yeah, I said, you know, he's got beats on the Real Late record with Peter Rosenberg, the Rock Morrissey and Flea Lord joint. Then he did a joint with Ghostface and Jim Jones, and he did a joint with, it's called like Second Generation Woo. You know, so that was like during COVID. And so since then, like I heard a lot of those beats before he gave it to them. And then there's beats that I got, you know, that no one else gets. And so I think this record, the refinement is coming from like the Disco Vietnam lens. And you guys kind of nailed, you talked about a little bit on the review about, yeah, Disco Vietnam is a band from Long Island with Barry and Kenny. And so when Barry makes all the beats, he still carries that moniker. But when they mix and master this record, it's together. So like he went to Texas where Kenny lives, and they mix and master the record together. So Kenny is the mastering engineer and you know, mixing guy. So he mixed and mastered Vegas Vic for me. He mixed and mastered the Rosenberg record Real Late, and then he mixed and mastered this one. But he's like, you know, a jazz drummer. Like he's a real musician. He's not just doing rap records all day. So like when they sat down, they had a vision for what they wanted this album, and my thing was to trust them. You know, I would have notes or things I would share, like, can we tweak this and pull this back? But overall, it's like all I want to do is handle. It's kind of like when like Jizza would explain working with the RZA, he's like, "Yo, you just show up with your rhymes." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
let
right.
this dude take care of the rest. That's what it felt like. I just showed up with the rhymes. He gave me some feedback. You know, we did songs in person, some at Dove's crib, some at my crib here. And then we just kind of took it from there. So like our friendship of, you know, almost 20 years, probably something like that. This was our first time like locking in front to back. He has say on everything I do. And I'm handing that over to him, being like, I want you to produce it for real, and executive produce it. Not just you just give me beats and I crank something out and it's out and everyone's happy. It's like, you know, we both come from that world of like real production, meaning you tell people like that's not good. Like
Sure.
do that again. Like
Yeah.
that's not working, or change your pattern, or double it this way, or oh, actually the first take was the best. I was wrong. Let's go back to that. Versus you just give me 30 beats, I write 60 bars or 60 verses, I put them all in place in my crib. You give me the thumbs up via email, it's on Bandcamp in 2 weeks. Like that's and some people work really well that way. Like that's no knock on anybody. But for he and I, like that's not our process. You know, it could never be. So like there's the refinement to going back to that is like, I'm glad you got, again, I love how much you nailed that word, because there was the overall process of this record is that, you know, like I didn't approach it like, oh, I'm better, or I'm seeing shit better as a rapper. I just always do everything the same way. It doesn't occur to me what I'm doing.
Yeah, every moment of the album seemed really intentional. You know, the placement of things, even the sequencing of the album felt really intentional, and everything landed really well. I guess I'm not surprised, but it's interesting to hear that Disco Vietnam was doing tracks for these kind of larger artists, you know, your Ghostface and stuff, because some of those like bangerish type of tracks, I was like, wow, this kind of reminds me of, you know, like a Wu approach when I used to think that like Wu had like beats that were not like, you know, 2012 mathematics type of Wu beats.
Oh,
you know?
God,
like,
yeah.
These are like the things that I used to love about some of those sample based kind of funky, kind of truncated and chopped weird, but still hard as fuck like bangers.
Yeah.
And, that was one of my favorite parts about the album. And I think that, you know, after the first few casual listens, one of the reasons I would go back and be like, oh, I kind of need to get that kind of like banger feel for that.
Yeah.
There was a nostalgia there to me, despite it like being brand new. And you know, with your style of rap, which I struggle to describe, like it's like it's hip hop shit. It's just like bars, raps, landing on beat, you know, twisting word of phrases, metaphors, similes, and shit like that.
Yeah.
You're not like tweaking like a double time alliteration run or something like that. You know, it's pretty like. I don't want to say classical, but it's just like that evergreen style of barring out. Is maybe what I should say.
The evergreen style bar.
Yeah, you know, it never really goes out of fashion. People can make it corny or whatever, depending on the content of the bars. But for you, it's like evergreen, just dope. And man, the album was just like it's really something that I would like to recommend to people. Like once I start getting out and DJing again this year, there's going to be plenty of tracks that I can share on that.
Hell yeah.
Also, you know, one of the reasons I was thinking about the refinement element and just how good you are at rapping these days, and perhaps your whole career, I don't know if you feel that way about it, because a few years back you had like Future Former Rapper, and it kind of felt like you had a bit of a foot out the door,
right?
You know, with it, and then, you know, COVID and call out culture, and now it seems like, oh, there's no quit in sight for you. Do you still have that?
Feeling of finality.
Yeah. Was there ever that actual like
yeah. So Future Former Rapper was like my farewell record. So when I made that, and God, it's 2015, something like that. At the time I was like, I'm just going to work with the people that if I wrap it up tomorrow, like checked off the boxes. So Castro's on the record a bunch, you know, he's my best friend. Uh, Dove. At that point, I didn't know Dove. I didn't work with Dove, but I just thought he was really dope. So I had Dove on the record. I have Ray West on the record. Vix, not Vic Spencer's on 96 Mentality. Messiah Music, Small Pro. So at the time, I was just like, that's my Rolodex. 2015. Like, here's everybody.
Mhm.
And even like guys from I went to college with, like Starkey. He did a song called "Name on the Buckle" with me and Castro. He was my TA. I did my first rap group ever with him. And then my man William J. Sullivan, who went on to work for Kid Cudi and Paris, Texas, and Nasir album. He's got a song on there we did a
Wow.
video for called "Make the Sickness Sell the Cure." He put out a record this past year. I'm on there. Shrapnel's on there. Brian Ennals is on there. Rob Sonic's on there. It's called "My Name Is Bill." So he did a track on there. We've been friends for 20 some years. So when I made that, I was like, all right, I'm good. Like, this is the end of the road. Great. I'll just be a dad from now on. Cool. And then it just, I don't know. I think when you get rid of that idea of having an endpoint and you're just kind of walking along and just enjoying yourself, then cool shit can happen. So 96 Mentality, which was the follow-up, which was not supposed to be anything, was just like the times I had during the weekend when my son would take naps when he was first born. And I was like, people would still send me beats. So I was like, oh, okay. I actually got some cool ideas because I'm just sitting around in the house all day. And then after that, it was like, okay, we did a Career Crooks record. We did, or follow up to the Career Crooks. It's just like things just kept happening. And I just had a lot to do in terms of, I had the time to think and write and rap, even though I was like very stressed out and not sleeping much. But that, has kind of brought me to this point where it's like, now I look at it like, okay, I need to slow down because on my end, everybody wants to work, right? We're all doing stuff. Everyone's prolific. We all have that chance. And for me, I'm like, I already have 2 more projects in the can. It's a matter of getting them lined up. So for me to start something brand new again from scratch, I'm like, oh, I have to make time for that now to be creative. Whereas I'm in a good flow now of doing the podcast, running the label, having a real life, a real demanding career, a family. My son does travel sports. So it's like, that's a lot different. So there's less time for me to just be creative, just to be a creative artist. So I think that's where, like when you have kids, like your focus gets so sharp because your time's so tight. And Alaska was like really helpful at me early on with that. Like just being like, yo, bro, don't even stress it. Like you'll find your way when you want. But ultimately it's like, yo, you start thinking about different things, or you start, it is too, like
Yeah.
you start getting rid of all the stuff that's just not necessary anymore. So that could be your friends, that could be like you and I were saying about social media stuff. On from a rap creative side, it's like, yo, when I was in college, it was the Jux era, the Anti-Con era, the Rhyme Sayers era, Soul Sides, all that, right? And I was like so open to Aesop and Canox and Black Alicious, and those records are great. But now, in the last 10 years of this part of my rap career, it's like once my time got more finite, it's like, yo, there's no time for this. There's no time to try to be like LP, or like, oh, what if I could rap like a Logic? Like that was like my dream when I was 22. Like, how could I be Dose One? Like, wouldn't that be amazing to be that? Whereas being a parent and a husband and a real career person the last 10 years, it's been like, no, you've never been weird. You can appreciate weird stuff,
Yeah.
but you're not weird. And that's okay. I've made a lot of weird records in the past no one's ever heard. And, some were critically acclaimed. Some we did a lot of shows off of locally. But when I was like, yo, actually, it's like Sean P really matters, and like Lord Finesse and AG from DITC really matters to me, and Nature really matters to me. So and then once I got rid of, like, you stop trying to be this thing, and you're just like, yeah, but this is all I got. This is just me. So once I just leaned into that, everything just got easier. The writing got easier, the workflow got easier, the writing got easy. Everything was just more simplified for me, and that's what I needed it to be. You know, it's I couldn't like before. You know, when I was a younger person, like Castro would come by the crib every day. We'd watch basketball. We would just have beats going. We would be doing shit, and sometimes in a week, you know, you would get like 3 or 4 verses done for random things, all different genres. Stuff. We were doing like drum and bass stuff, dubstep, boom bap. We were all over the place. And now it's like I don't have that luxury. So when I get something and it makes me react like right away, that's what I'm chasing. Like the instant reaction to versus okay, I'm gonna spend a week like thinking about what I'll say to this beat. You know what I mean? So like that's what is different for me now versus pre or even Future Former Rapper. I had a lot of time to make that record. But like 96 Mentality to now is like another phase. You know what I mean? Like same way like filmmakers, they'll go through that where you'll see for like, you know, a 3-4 movie stretch that kind of work with the same people, similar themes, similar visuals. I feel like that's where this space has been for me for the last, whatever, 9 years or something like that.
I can really appreciate that. I think you and I are around the same age. You know, I'm 42 years old, and I often think that I was at the very cutoff of that 4-element b-boy phase
Right.
where it was still really lionized, that keep it real type of,
Yeah.
you know, like we got to disavow this and we got to champion this era. And you know, I've done everything in hip hop. I tried to make records, I've DJ'd, write graffiti, breaking, you know, and for a long time, like my style turned into whatever, but for a long time it was like, yo, I really should try to do what Dose and Y are doing on this, and how can we do like a lyrics back and forth on this, and,
right.
you know, we wanted to push those things, but
Yes.
like it wasn't until my 30s where I was like, oh, this is just how I rap. I don't have to do anything different. This is me, and it's got my own voice to it. It's authentic as me, and I'm good. And I appreciate how, you know, there's certain artists in our community that, despite being, you know, best friends with Elucid and Fatboy Sharif and Beans from Antipop and shit like that, despite having those guys as friends and appreciate their style, there's guys like, I would say, like you and Def C, who have just have dialed in so well with the way that you guys rap. There's not ever any like, ooh, I'm gonna be spooky on this one, you know? Like, let me and to me, I always feel like, oh, like I would have tried to be weird on this, because I guess I'm just not, you know, like I haven't reached that idea, you know.
Yeah, and you're right, and I think what for me, the stripping away of that, because again, it's like and I'm 43, so I'm like right there with you. So it's like when we were in that time of, you know, listening to Cloud Dead and then listening to like Deep Puddle Dynamics. You know, and I wasn't really big on Antipop, but I always respected them. In Philly, there was like a lot of guys like that, like Schools of Thought, and even Reef. The first show I ever did, I opened for Reef, which is hilarious. So with going through that whole world, like Jedi Mind Tricks in Philly, Mountain Brothers, all that, it's like the guys of all those people, like I listened to like the High and Mighty album probably the most. Just because it was the banging beats. Eon was serviceable as an MC, but he knew like what his limits were, and then they were awesome guests, and they were always
references,
like Sixer stuff all day, you know. And it was like, oh, okay, you know. And even like for me, like Pharaoh, like Internal Affairs, like I played that more than any organized record at the time. You know, later on it was like Stress Forever, but in the moment I was like, oh, like I like when he does this, like I like Simon Says, and I like Behind Closed Doors and Hell with Cannabis and No Mercy with MOP. So it was like that whole time for us, the indie time, like everything before the indie time for me was like mixtapes, Mobb Deep, you know, Pun, Nori, Woo, all of that. And so I think like I kind of picked up that again, you know what I mean? Like the indie run, it was like a really fascinating, ultra inspiring time. And it also like made you stand out from people. You know what I mean? So it's like at the time you could really be people like, oh, what is that? Like, and they would definitely have a very intense reaction. Most of the time they hated it, right? Everyone's like, "Hey, Rock's trash," remember that whole thing. So it's like, then when you're right, when you get your 30s, you're kind of like, oh man, why did I do all that when like the essence was here the whole time? Like, it's not for me to have to do it all. Like you said, you were trying to do all the elements. I was like, okay, I'm a producer, I'm a friggin' label head, I'm a rap, I'm like da, da, da. And it's like, even on my end now, I mean, I may put out like 1 beat a year, 2 beats a year, but I spent 10 years making beats every day, all the time. I have so many beats on a hard drive. So it's like, okay, but once I stopped doing that, my rhyming got way crazier. Like, and it wasn't a thing of like, oh, let me stop. Or with the label stuff, it was a long time where I was like, I'm not putting anyone else out but me. I don't deal with other people's shit. I don't want to deal with their problems. And then now that's what I spend most of my time doing, is working with other artists and putting out their music and doing deals and making, getting relationships. So like, that's happening now too. So it's like, all of these things kind of have their time. You know what I mean? Like, you could put it away for a while, and close the door. But then 7 years later, you open that door again. You're like all excited. You're like, oh shit, I remember I used to do this, and that's fun. And so I think it's cool to have that awareness to think, what's the best use of my time, and what am I having the most fun doing? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm having the most fun, to your point, like if I'm having the most fun DJing right now, or if I'm having the most fun tagging, maybe that's just what I just want to do for the next 2 years. I don't know. And it doesn't mean I gave up or quit. It's just, I'm not in that season anymore, but I can get back to it whenever I felt like it,
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear my doorbell ringing, but I'm gonna let it go.
No, I didn't hear it. Nah.
Okay, good. No, I appreciate that. I also kind of appreciate the we didn't have, at least I wasn't really aware of, 43-year-old rappers when I was,
Right.
20 years old and shit. And it's like, well, everybody's aged up and everybody's kind of changed. And all of a good majority of my like former heroes have, like, rap heroes have kind of transitioned into different styles. They've settled in different things. Alaska being, like a prime example. You listen to a new Alaska album, it's nothing like, even the Hangar 18 stuff.
Not even close.
Like Soul is like that too. He's completely different, and even your Dose One in a couple ways. But I like seeing this like adult grown type of rapper, and I from your open mic to you and the things that you guys are putting into your music is really it really resonates with me in a way, and I'm glad that hip hop is continued to feed me in that way, because I really can't get into a lot of, like, I fuck with like Rock Marciano. I'm like, wow, this is a great rapper, he's really good at rapping, the beats are amazing, he's had an incredible run, probably one of the GOATs. But then I hear him be like, you ain't gotta go to Abu Dhabi to be dehumanized, and I'm just like, all right, that's a dope thought, but what is the distance between like me thinking it's funny and absurd versus the distance between somebody that thinks that that's really dope because it's a cool thing to do,
right?
And I like, like it's rough for me, but to get more towards like the adulting element and becoming like an aging MC sounds like disparaging, but like an aging MC. Like your label, $3 Pistol. It's great. Constantly putting out dope guys. Andrew and I Alive. Those type of artists. How has it been to transition? I know you just mentioned a lot of like finding more time, but the business side of things now as an artist, and I guess you always have been, the marketing team, but
promoter,
the promoter is like, is Bandcamp the number one place where you want people to purchase your music and go to when it comes to stuff like that?
Naturally, yeah. It's the best thing about Bandcamp, and it does suck to be so tied to one platform just for anything. But what I like about Bandcamp is the email blast, right? So like this year I was like, you know what? I want to go back to like having more outreach that's not directly always tied to, something new is out. So last year I put out 10 releases, which was a lot. And I did a lot of internal auditing, being like, what was successful about that? What were things I should not do anymore? And then what should I fine tune? So for this year, I was like, I got to scale back to maybe 5 or 6 releases, but I want them to have more impact, and then I want myself to have more time to hit the fans from the Bandcamp email, which is like $3 Thursdays. That's an email from me. And shouts about man Stan Ipkiss. He kind of put the battery in my back with his stuff, Ip's picks. So he puts out an email every day. Every day he picks a song, any genre. But Ip's like me and us. He's our age. He's got kids, and he came up. He's real more like in the New York mixtape era. Like that's his essence, and I love that era too. But for me, it was like, okay, I don't want to, talk about like tragedy Nas freestyles with DJ Clue every week, which I would love to do. I was like, well, let me use this time every week to highlight something from the catalog now, because $3 Pistol, I started in 2010, and that was just me having labels in the past, crews. Everything just got so muddied up, and I was like, I just want to have a place where I have all my stuff, things I think are cool. And I just started putting stuff, and it's like when Bandcamp first came out. So I have a big mailing list just from having stuff out at that time. And then working with new artists, like when I first brought Milk around, I brought Andrew around to my label. I'm like, okay, like they're fans that don't know me, never heard of it. Well, now they're in this thing, and now I can pitch them a Blue Edwards record or a Prem Rock, anniversary record, or like a Dumb High record, which is a big Philly album in my heart called The Jungle. So it's like I use that as a way to show all these different people's fans, like, hey, it's cool that you bought this record from me, from that artist you really like, but I think you may like this too. And maybe they will, maybe they won't, but like it is cool to see. Like I'll see all the names come through when the people buy stuff, and I'll be like, oh, like I'll know certain names, like this guy is a diehard Sleeping Dogs fan, or this chick loves Rich Jones, or these people all in the Northwest, diehard Milk fans, right? So I catch them, but then like a while later, I'll see them pop up for something else. I'm like, oh, okay, they like I Alive. Oh, they like Blue Edwards. They like, So that's where the fun part for me, because like, when we were kids, like, or even teens, like labels meant a lot. I don't know how much labels mean anymore to people, like I don't know who's beside like Backwoods, but I don't know who's sitting there being like, oh, I wonder what Def Jam's putting out, like
right. Who is even on Def Jam?
I don't know. So I think it really is just a place for me to put out things I really love, and to make that a spot that, even if it's a small percentage of people buying the records, like are checking for the second and third wave of stuff, not just like their one favorite artist I've put out a couple of times.
Yeah. That's definitely a great idea. The way it used to happen for us is like, we get the album, let's make a mixtape. I'm going to put a bunch of joints on this, and you got to find out who that is. It was kind of like getting the jazz records, like, yo, this record's dope. Who are the players? And then you go and you find that. And there's so much noise nowadays and a barrage of just like omnifaucet of content.
Right.
It's nice to have somebody just kind of tap you gently and be like, yo, I know what you like. I'm not the algorithm, but I kind of found out because of, you rock with this. Maybe you'll like this. And I don't get enough of that. I get just the algo,
right,
pushing me
and that's the hardest part is like, I used to work at a record store, so I used to love putting people onto something that, again, they had to buy it, trust you, and then come back and be like, yo, that was crazy. Or the same way, like I used to work in a comic book stores and be like, what do you think I would like this week? Oh, I know you like this. Here, I'll pick these. And so that's like the thing that, yeah, it's dope to get access to all these people all the time. And for the artist, it's a great time to have a very low barrier of entry to get in. But the hardest part is like, how do you, outside of like really hitting the algorithm that day or those few days, like how do you stick past that 30 seconds, sometimes 5 seconds, right? So what connects with people? And I think that's where, for me, it's like when I decided to press up certain things on wax, I'm like, you know what? This needs to be on people's shelves to me. Like I want it to sit there next to other shit. Some projects I'm like, I think that could work, but I think the cassette is probably the best for this one, or maybe like a really fly CD is the best one for this. So it's like and there's costs associated with that. There's a lot of risk, right? There's a lot of like different fees and bullshit that goes into that. But overall, it's like, yo, how do I? If I'm a big fan of this, then I'm most excited for you to like it, for you to check it. You know what I mean? Like if you don't like it, that's totally cool. So like when I did during COVID, I did the first non me record I ever put out was Alex Ludovico, who's been on the pod a million times, and me and him have been friends since like 2008 or something. And he just had a bunch of joints. He just was putting joints up every Monday, and they were all original songs. And I was like, dog, like why are you doing this? Like why are you just putting out this heat for no rhyme or reason? He's like, I don't know, I'm just like in the mood. He goes through these spells where he just goes hard in the paint and he raps and makes a ton of videos and he's quiet for a minute. So I was like, yo, like you need to collate these. Like this is a record, bro. I said, let me go through all these drops and like make this a record. He was like, okay. So we did a record called Cocaine and Therapy, where I just picked all the songs he had put out as singles. And I was like, I think all these fit together. These kind of tell a story. He let me arrange the record, and then I partnered with Griff and Insubordinate Records, and then we did like a joint release. And I was real nervous. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to get back into this, or like having to deal with someone else, you know. But I trust. I've been friends with both those guys forever. I'm like, this is kind of low risk. Like, not the worst thing that's gonna happen is like he doesn't respond to emails, whatever, or text. So we did it, and that caught people who only knew me for me. They were like, oh, like you're okay. And then I went from that, then I did Andrew. We did The Rain Knows What You're Doing. The Rain Knows What It's Doing. So it's like that same thing. We didn't know each other very well. I did some shows with him. I thought his record Pop 1967 was like, I was playing for everybody. I'm like, this fucking guy is the coolest dude I've ever heard. And then we were still in Philly. We would like bump into each other. And then I was like, yo, just send me a bunch of stuff. What are you doing, man? Beat it. Okay. Thank you. It's my son.
I gotta deal with that with my daughter too. Man. She'll be like, who are you talking to? Do I know them?
Yeah, he's just like it's only been 6 years of me doing stuff on camera, so it's like that's where. So then it's like anything else. You just kind of take chances, and then it's like okay, I start seeing things where I'm like, hey, I'll reach out to people, but like, oh, what do you think about us doing this? Or people reach out to me. Okay, what do you think about us doing this? And then I kind of have to evaluate that. So it's like that's where I think long term it alleviates the pressure of me feeling like as an artist I have to keep being out all the time to be known and be seen, whereas I can stay busy. Like I'm putting out this Not Really record in March. It's called Extra Cheese. It's like his first totally solo produced record. And I love how he operates. We've done some shows together. He's a stand-up dude. I like building relationships with people like that, doing business. Like me and Rich Jones knew each other for a while. Obviously, like the Blue Edwards record that had been out. So it's like, for me, I see where this can go outside of I'm the only thing that matters. It's like I kind of put myself last. I put myself. Oh, there's my dog. I put myself in the end of November. You know what I mean? Like. I didn't need to do all that. Hold on a second. I'm just going to close my door so she doesn't get back. Sure. Can you close the door for a second? Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. She always likes to come in and sit on my couch cushion. So that's her. She saw the door, but she's like, yo, I'm coming through. I'm coming right in.
Yeah, she's like, this is my spot, man. I'm allowed
she knows.
To be places.
She knows, dude. She knows.
Yeah. Cool, though, man. Like, it must have been an interesting learning curve for you, too, though. Like, all of a sudden you have to deal with the legality of things and money and somebody else's pockets, not just yours, but has that been pretty rough? You got to get, lawyers and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. It just sucks. It sucks. But again, it's like, for me, I was like, I always would handle business. So on a smaller scale, like doing people's ass caps and running promotions and all that crap, like all the tedious administrative stuff no artist wants to deal with ever, I'm good at that. So for me, it's like I don't love it, but I'm good at it and I'm willing to learn. And so now it's like, okay, how do we deal with tariff costs? How do we deal with 1099s? How do I deal with I'm doing a deal with a distribution company for a digital distro. I'm like, okay, how do I do that? Does that make sense for us? Like,
Mhm.
it all just kind of develops. Like you're just faking it the whole time. Like you don't know what the frig is going on because no one's like, oh man, that'd be really sick. Like to do taxes. Like, oh, I can't wait.
Right. Yeah.
I'm dealing with that right now. Like I literally
About to
right
get
next to me.
1099. Hell yeah.
There it
Yeah,
is.
right.
Speaking of
Yeah,
1099s, here's
yeah,
all the
yeah,
taxes. What a
yeah.
blast. So like that's the part where like if you look at Backwoods, like Billy Woods and the other the partner over there, like they're really good at business, but they've been doing it for 15 years. So I don't think where they were, in 2012 is where they are now, and they're doing tons of volume and different iterations of all catalog. And so that's my hope long term is to keep building systems. Like I said, you right, like, yo, I hire somebody on Fiverr to chop up your review. I was like, I don't have the time to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just pay someone. But if I didn't have a label, I'd be like, well, no one's gonna do it. I'm the artist. I need to do it.
Sure.
Now I'm like, yo, take things off my plate. That's worth money to just pay for it. You know what I mean? So it's like that's where, you start thinking strategically versus, okay, it's me. It's me time. So right now it's me time. I'm doing this interview, right? And the record's a couple months old. But 4 months from now, like it's not going to be me time. It's going to be not really time, and then it'll be milk time or sleeping dogs or something like that.
I'm hoping to hear some Wrecking Crew time.
Ha!
I asked Castro about it, and he's like, I don't know, like we gotta dedicate the energy to that.
Yeah.
We're always thinking about it, but
I was saying to them at some point last year, I'm like, yo, 2026, we need to do it again, and So when we did Sedale Threat, Castro was like the taskmaster, project manager of that record, and we all kind of like pulled beats together, and then my job was like dealing with the known artists and dealing like Bruiser Wolf and Casual and all these, and Thurston Howell, like how do we get them in the mix? And then Castro would bring certain beats, but then Prem was like, no, we should go here and press it up on vinyl. And then Small Pro was like, no, I want to make sure there's interludes. So it was a really cool approach, but Castro really was like the driving force of Sedale. He came up with the title, he handled the artwork, the arranging, checking in, making sure people had stuff done. So I think since then, like Shrapnel is like such a bigger deal. Me with the label and a solo career is like a bigger deal just in time. You know what I mean? So it's like my dream would be the preliminary things we've said was like Small Pro needs to produce the whole record, and then we would either have like writing sessions or like try to do as much in person as possible. Whereas like that record was like COVID, so we had more time indoors, but I don't think we recorded anything in person. But I would like to do that because the last time we were all together, it was probably like I don't know, like late fall. We were at I Alive's crib, so all of us were there, and it was like Prem doing joints with Small Pro, and then Castro just can't end up coming through. And then I was just I had like limited time because I had to leave, but I was like, let me get on a beat real quick. And then they played me a joint, and I wrote like something real quick, and I recorded. So boom, I'm now on like a Prem Small Pro record. But like, if we all could have just dedicated, like, yo, we're spending 3 hours at this spot, that's what we're gonna do. And like me, the Prem records I have on this record came from those sessions with Steel Tip Dove. So we would just block off time. Barry would come. We'd go to Brooklyn, and me and Prem would just write everything on the spot. So that's how Bourbon General's Theme 3 is. The Bandcamp version has the song The Moon, which DSP's just knocked us for, so it's only on the physicals. And Bandcamp.
Yeah, I found out about that on the
when you guys interview. Right. It's like the Moon joint, like that same thing. And it was like all written on the spot. We did more joints, but Barry would always be like, no, I don't like it. So it's like, okay. There's a joint we did with Alaska. I don't know if that's ever going to come out. And we played one on Co-Out Culture a few weeks back. But Barry's like, I don't like them. I'm like, okay. I mean,
you're executive producer, yeah.
Right. His stance is always as a producer. He's always like, would it be the worst thing if I like the song? Like, can I like it? If I don't like it, my name's on it. I'm not gonna just put it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Brilliant. I like it. Yeah, you gotta maintain those type of those kind of boundaries and stuff.
Right.
You know,
yes.
Teach people how to treat you. You know.
Seriously.
But yeah. Man, you know, I've support call out culture for years and stuff, but I'm not I just cannot get into listening to podcasts anymore for some reason. Maybe it's because like I'm constantly talking and doing things, and
Right.
I just don't listen to podcasts like very rarely. Very
No one
rarely.
has, bro. Since COVID ended, no one's listened to
Yeah.
podcasts. Like it's COVID.
Okay.
Now they're all doing them on Netflix and Hulu. They're all like
Sure.
now they're just like talk shows. Like the
Yeah.
same way we grew up with like Ricky Lake and Geraldo and Maury and Sally Jesse. Now it's like watch Bill Simmons during the day do a podcast on Netflix. So for us, it's like I want it to be, and I totally get it. Like it doesn't matter to me. I want it to be just like a weekly hangout, you know. So we'll use the topic or whatever guests we're doing to then talk about just like life stuff. And I think that's what's kept it happening for probably like we're probably closing on 400 episodes, something like that, which is insane. But like and I get it. But like I've seen people come and go. You know what I mean? Like I've seen people with my music over a long time. Like I've seen the people that were really rocking with me in 2011, 2012, and then nothing for years. And then they'll pop back up, or like they'll hit me about like one project I did 24. Oh, this is my favorite. Like, oh, I'm like, damn, really?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Like,
right.
That means I'm the same way with people. I'll be like, yo, bro, I know you did a lot, but goddamn, that one thing in 2002, like that's the best thing you ever made.
Yeah, I tend to do that too with the old homies like KDI Kiki. I've known him for a whole minute. And I hit him up. I was like, yo, I can't believe like this fucking Liza Minnelli shit is so ill. And he was like, yo, you want to hear a secret? I got a Backwoods album coming out soon. I was like, perfect timing. But you know,
there
like
it'd
be like that. Like one of the things like I don't like I used to have a podcast here in Tokyo base, all in studio guests, and it was pretty like relatively successful. I got to meet a lot more people than I ever thought I would, or probably ever could if I was in the United States. You know, Marley Marl was in my house.
Wow.
You know, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, Adrian Young, just a lot of really dope people. And I think it was just because like, oh, they're the biggest English speaking hip hop podcast out here, so we'll do it with them. And for when COVID hit, I was like, all right, I'm not doing podcasts anymore because nobody's coming into Tokyo.
Right.
And I started doing Secret House, and it's like all online. I'm just a talking head about music. And people are like, yo, you should do interviews and you should do that. And I'm like, everybody else already got a podcast interviewing. I feel kind of like I had in studio shit before.
Yeah.
And now I've got, you know, guys like Rap Music Plug Podcast, who's amazing at doing interviews.
Right.
I'm in their Discord. And then like, it's like, all right, maybe I will do interviews, but I wanted to make mine more like kick-its too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just get on there. I'm talkative. Like, you know, me and Castro, we struggling to put a word in. We just going back and forth trying to get over on each other and shit. When we record, it's like, I'm really talkative. So when I do a podcast, I like to just make it seem like, oh, here I am kicking it with Fast Eddie in the coffee shop. You know? Obviously, I'm going to have some questions. People want to hear about, you know, the album and shit. But really, man, I mostly just like kicking it too. Shit.
That's all that matters, bro. Like, honestly, when we do the show now, you know, once we move past the just hip hop topic, right? When we're doing like, yo, best
yacht rock,
VH1 classics, Wine Mom joints, right? The people we would have on, like Jesse or like Eddie Meeks from Southern Vanguard, or even Dove or Milk or Blockhead, like hearing their reaction to like John Cicada or Amy Grant or the Doobie Brothers. Like now you start hearing guys that you look to as like, okay, these dudes like the best indie guys. And it's like, all right, but like, you know, Eddie Meeks loves Christopher Cross sailing. You know what I mean? Like that is so fun.
Yeah.
You know, and then when we can get into, like we just did an Alcoholics episode with Stan Ipkiss. And then we'll go into Castro. Like, I never listened to any of these motherfuckers' albums. I never listened to Alcoholics ever. I knew the singles, whatever. I'm like, dog, I was Liquid Crew. Like, I bought every fucking thing these guys made, all of them, you know. And then we start pontificating on, like, you know, why wasn't Tash on Chronic 2001? That's kind of a crazy snub, to be honest. Then we talk about Tash Records. So then we kind of go into all of that. But then even like our last one we just did the 1988 album, rap album, the tournament for the best album in 1988. And
that's a crazy.
we
I mean,
so stuff like
who
that
won?
is like no, you gotta listen, bro.
I
You
gotta
gotta
listen.
listen.
Okay,
You
okay.
gotta listen. It's
That's fair,
good.
that's fair.
It's kind of low hanging fruit. Whatever you think won, it's either in the final four or it made it to the championship. But like even on that episode, we just did like a whole sidebar, like who was the worst teammate, Kobe or Michael Jordan? Like who's the worst dude to be on your team? Like you know what I mean? So like that's so when we found our sweet spot, because early on, same thing. We did some interviews early. We were like, we're not good at that. That's not our thing. And then when we were just only doing like Ghostface and Can Ox and Ray and Nas and you know, like the standard stuff, it was good to do it and check off boxes. But then it's like, okay, well, what else is out there?
Yeah.
What else are we gonna? How many more times can we say like company flow fucking rules? Like,
Yeah.
So then it's like yacht rock, bro.
Sure.
That's what we're gonna talk about right now.
Yeah. In the Discord, we were talking about TV theme show songs, and I'm like, yo, there's so much fire going on here. And I found myself yesterday like just looking at like I'm listening to like 15 different television theme songs.
Yeah. Like yo, you know what's so dope about us, bro? You know what's so dope about us as like lifelong hip hop motherfuckers? The best thing about us is you probably seen this like in your regular life when you're around people in different lifestyles, different scenes they were in, right? When they were younger, they were in like grunge bands or jazz or some shit. Well, you can speak their language because you know records because you're a rap motherfucker. Like know, yo, I know Stan Getz. I also know Iron Maiden. I also know fucking James Taylor. I know Paul Simon. I know friggin' Mantronics. Yeah. Like I can have a surface level convo with you about like punk music because rap is so dope because hip hop is like, yo, we're just taking the hottest shit from all of these things and putting it here the way we want. So we're gonna take this banging bass line that's only 2 seconds with these crazy ass drums that's 4 seconds with this horn hit that's, you know, and we're just because this is all the best. You know what I mean? And like that's what's so cool about it is you can so like when you defragment that and be like now on our side we're gonna talk about those genres. We're gonna spend time just like TV theme. How many rap songs sample TV theme songs back in the day, bro? Even like 80s?
Yeah.
Even Cam when he was doing like Night Court on Horse and Carriage remix, he was sampling that. It's like rap dudes were tapped in.
Yeah, you get kind of a default musical education by being a rap fan, which is different than a lot of other genres. I've been able to like I know a little bit about every genre, I suppose, you know, like drum and bass even. It's like, you like Alpha Blondie? Yeah, I love some reggae shit too. And also just like our age too, like back then you turn on the radio and you're subjected to all this incredible music. Like I remember when I was like 20 something and it's like I had been done with the radio, you know, and then it was just like, oh shit, I remember this song. I didn't know that was Steely Dan. Like this is a jam. I fuck with this. Yeah, you know, like so
whereas like, it doesn't always work the other way. You know what I mean? Like someone that is a diehard country fan, they're not gonna know David Axelrod.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're not gonna know friggin' like Linda Ronstadt. They're not, you know, like they're not gonna have this wide pool. And so I think that's what's the coolest about us. But because we wear hoodies and baseball hats, everyone's like, oh well, you just like fucking J. Cole. Something like that.
Yeah. It'd be embarrassing to be like, oh yeah, I do a rap thing, like I do a hip hop thing, and they'd be like what, like Jay-Z? It's like not like I always want to give kind of like a buffer, like I do, you know. That's why I'd be like independent, underground, avant-garde, you know. Like I want to give a buffer, but it doesn't work. People just, you know, it's like, oh, you like the Beastie Boys? And it's like,
man, shouts to Alaska. That's his crew right there. Beastie Boys, Day One, Alaska.
Yeah, I mean, I love Hello Nasty. I love Hello Nasty.
That album is so long, bro. Their records are just long albums. God damn.
I just skip a lot, you know. Like there's like 5 on there that I'm like,
I know, and there's another hour and 10 minutes. You're like, God damn, there's a lot.
Yeah, they do a little too much, but you know,
a lot of meandering.
Good for them. Good for them. Shit, man. I like Man, my life has been so crazy lately that I'm really happy to talk to you. Like I was saying, like my wife was really fucking thugging, man. I had no idea what was going on. We've been married 12 years, and apparently she was doing some stuff at work with money
Are
that
you
yeah we
married to
just
Remy Ma? Is that your wife?
I didn't know, man. Like I married my wife is a B girl. Like we met
Hell yeah.
breaking
Hell
and
yeah.
in Japan, and that's how I got to Japan, right? And so we're
She
real
wear
tight.
she has an Echo hoodie right now in the closet.
Nah, but definitely like 15 different Adidas trifoil
Ooh.
jackets and a sneakerhead. There's 100 pairs of Jordan 1s in the bedroom
Wow.
between me and her. And I
Hell
wasn't
yeah.
even a sneakerhead until I met her. And then I
Hell
found
yeah.
out that one of the things I could spend a lot of money on and she wouldn't complain about were sneakers. I was
Sneakers,
like, all right,
yeah.
I'm buy a pair of sneakers twice a month, easy. But yeah, man, like yo, I thought I was looking at jail time because I was gonna stand on. I was gonna be like, all right, it was me. I was the one
Yeah.
twisting my mustache doing the thing. I'll take the 5 to 10. But luckily, her boss was like chilling and was just like, we just want to recoup, all of this amount, and it's obscene. It's more than I make in a year, bro.
Wow.
Like, so
You were married
yeah,
to a hardened criminal, bro. A
I
criminal.
don't. Yeah, she
I don't want
was
to say
thugging.
mastermind, but yeah, she got
Yeah, I
caught out
mean,
there.
she 2 years doing it, like apparently. But I love my wife, and we're very honest. Like we don't
Good.
really like, and this is why it was surprising because she kept it a secret from me. She just like,
Wow.
and she still is denying accountability of it, saying it's an accident because it wasn't like she was like buying laptops and flipping them. She was just
Mm,
buying little things over and over, like a lot new phone case. I now see shit that I was like, why do we got new like Stanley Cup water bottles? Like we don't need
right.
this. Like, and I'm not knowing how much those things are out here.
Yeah, they're a grip.
$100 a pop and shit. And it's
Yep.
like we just had a lot of little shit. We didn't have no big shit. It took me a
Right.
couple months to feel confident to buy a PS5. You know what I
Hell
mean?
yeah. Hell yeah.
And it's like she was just thugging, and I was just like, all right, man, I can't have her hanging around my family no more because my family's like, I got my nephew in jail for credit card fraud, my
Oh
niece
my
in jail for
God.
shooting somebody in the head. It's like you've been around these people. I thought I had given up crime. I aged out of it. I'm taking our daughter to Brazilian jiu-jitsu class.
Yeah,
You
bro.
embezzling money.
Dog, I had a song on Career Crooks, the second record we did, Never at Peace. The song I live, called Can't Steal from a Thief. And I talked about like I used to roll with dudes that do credit card scams, mass retail theft, systems in place. And I used to, and then I was always like, oh, like I'm rolling with these dudes. Everything is hot in this car. Like, it's funny, ha ha ha. But you age out, you're like, yeah, I'm good, man. I really
It's
don't.
like
I don't want to
the
deal with
homies,
that.
all my graph head homies out here who are like, well known graph heads,
Mm.
like, do you write in Tokyo? No, absolutely not. I'm not trying to get
Mm.
caught writing graffiti in Tokyo. I'll do permission walls and we got a
Mm.
studio, but
Hell
like,
yeah.
I'm not doing no graffiti. When I was younger, it's like stealing cars, we just racking anything.
Yep, that there it
T-shirts,
was. There it is.
racking.
You said
Just-
racking.
yeah,
I love that.
that was like my whole thing until I was like, I don't know, 26. It's like, man, I need, it's like, there's nobody gonna miss this Snicker bar. I'll just take this at the gas station. Like really just casual theft left and right. And yeah, man, now I'm old, like the only thing I hold on to in my vices is like alcoholism. Like I
Yeah.
still loved
Hell yeah.
drinking, but I drink all the time. Sometimes I'll be wilding out on Discord drunk as fuck. People know me for being drunk. But
Hell yeah.
like I just I don't wake up with hangovers. I was
That's
drinking last
good.
night, and I'm
great.
cooling, so.
I have a Sam Adams cold snap. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
if
what
it
I
was
got.
nighttime, I would be drinking. Like, yeah, that's
That's
just
good.
how I do it.
That's
Yeah.
good. You have limits.
Yeah,
You know?
I haven't started, like I teach English out here and I teach breaking out here and shit, and I'm like around kids, I can't be drunk
Yeah,
at the
that's
school.
disgusting.
Like, yeah, this
Come
is
on,
how
bro.
you say fucking whack. Yeah.
What do you know
Say
about
forever.
me, boy and motherfucker?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm definitely not one of those old heads. Like I do like when the youth get at me and it's like, yo, what was it like being a hip hop? Like, how did you get into hip hop? And I was like,
Mm.
bro, like I thought that hip hop was like the DJ was the beat maker and he just found
Yeah.
a really good record when I was
Yeah.
like 12. But simultaneously at 12, like I met like my older cousins were breaking and I was like, oh, let me get into this. And next
Mm-mm.
thing I know, I'm at a huge function and there's everything, all 4 elements.
amazing.
And it was just, and that's how I got into it. And
It's immersive,
Yeah.
bro.
yeah, and like of course we were all rap fans too. It was like
Mhm.
it was like impossible to be like in high school and not be a rap fan if you were around like black folks, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
Like we all loved it and everybody
Mhm.
did. But yeah, like I definitely did become one of those. I was one of those hip hop heads in like 2002, 2003 that was like, nah, man, I'm not listening to Jadakiss right now. I'm listening to Sage Francis. You know,
Dude,
like
yo, the only thing that saved me from going all out like that was I would go to strip clubs every weekend. So I would be banging Sage and Canox and Idea. But at the strip club, I'm like, yo, this mystical joint is crazy. This ludicrous shit is crazy. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, that's why. So all my real like regular friends, we'd be playing like Big Pimpin' and Thong Song all the time. But then like my nerdy like college friends were like, yo, did you hear fucking
selling live water.
yeah, like Copyright and Cage, like wow.
Oh, right.
So it was like I spent more time around people that were like my man Midas the Beast, like yo, cool rap, like Nori's cool, you know what I mean, or like Silk the Shocker when he's cool, you know, and then like the extremely left field stuff when I would buy like Herb Magazine or like Juxtapose and like read up, and then early internet trying to get those joints, or like remember that dude Braille? You remember him? I used to listen to Braille. He was like this. He's like a holy hip hop dude, but he had like self-titled beats. So I was like checking him.
Okay.
You
Sounds
know, like
familiar.
yeah, like hip hop site,
yeah.
all them things. You know,
Yeah.
Planet Asia EPs and Float from Aesop and all like. But again, that was like a little thing I would have, and then when I'm out in public, it's like the Roots was like the lowest you can go of like cool rap, walking around rap. Like the Roots was like, okay, that's where we're like dangerously on the line now with reggae. And this is Philly. So it's like but then once I started being around just more rap dudes, like Castro was like, our relationship started over like Co-Flow and like Socrates and like Show Claire. We were like the only Philly dudes when we were like, yo, like that's my shit actually. Like really? You know, but
I haven't heard that name in probably a decade. Chuck
you know what I mean? Yeah, like that's
Yeah,
so we connected in that space. And so when you listen to Castro's records or Shrapnel records, like you know that. It's like that's a straight line from some of those records, right? And with me, it's like there'll be little moments here and there. But I think like that's what's dope is like we all have that in our library. Like that's all there accessible at any moment. And it's not out of place. You know what I mean? To be like, oh, I can get down with that dude on Jux or Backwoods the same way I can get down with like Malik B, RIP. Like we had him on a record, or you know what I mean, like or even like Blue. We did him, but we had him on the Chong record. So it's like, you know, like Milk to me is kind of like that guy now. Like Milk can walk that line of being like an indie dude, but then like drug dealers could fuck with him. You know, like that's
Indeed.
And I like that juxtaposition. You know what I mean? And that's
we
fun.
didn't have that. I felt like we didn't have that so much when I was like graduating high school. I graduated in 2001, and I actually had to flee Hawaii because criminal investigation division was like, we know you stole 12 cars, so I fled, and I went to Texas, and I guess I got lucky that there was no like underground hip hop heads out there, like zero. They were all, you know, either rocking with, you know, the blue, like that's the year of Blueprint, Beanie Siegel, real East Coast shit, or it was the very beginning, or kind of like Swisher House was spreading across Texas. So I had all these Swisher House CDs, and I was like, this is dope. I could rock with this. And also, I'm still tapped into Beanie Siegel. Meanwhile, I'm like, yo, listen to Labor Days. And I always was moving places where I was kind of the weirdest one. Until I got to the Bay, and it was like, oh, there's weird people here. I can, like now I know about Jack Kerouac and not just, you know, twerking and shit. Like,
that's
I didn't
awesome.
I didn't go to the strip clubs at all when I was in California.
Oh
Everybody
man,
was like, you want to go to the like there my buddy's doing like live improv play at the community college. It's like, yeah, let's see that.
Nah, I don't want art. Nah, though. I want to see some breasts.
I don't think I'll do it anymore. But because I was so open to that, I was just like, it didn't matter if a person was whack. If they were different, I'd be like, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
That's
you know, it's
interesting.
like no matter what they're doing, it's like, oh, that's pretty, that's wonderful. Yeah, what an artist. You know, I see. It's like I've been trying to be very postmodern about it. Like, the brick means a lot. The brick symbolizes so much. But yeah, fuck all that. Now we talking to these kids. These kids don't like sex anymore.
It's
like
corny, bro. It's corny.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like
The
I'll be feeling like a
motherfuckers are-
pervert. I'm like,
Nah,
I'm trying to
bro.
get some butt. No, we don't try to get butt.
It's
Like,
it's so corny, dude. No, because you have no cool uncles around. That's your problem.
yeah,
You don't have any cool uncles giving you game. Come on, bro.
yeah, yeah.
It's so pathetic.
I sometimes I feel like I'm a maniac because like I have so many stories about being around people who were
Yeah.
like more wild than me, and I
Yeah.
tell my story and they make it like, oh my god, you did that, and it's like, bro, like that is just a little cherry. Like I've got dead homies and shit. Like I've seen the orgies. I've had to escape. Cass was doing some real nasty shit.
Yeah,
back
they
when we was
look at us
kids.
like they look at us like barbarians or something, like
Yeah.
from Genghis Khan era. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, it wasn't. I mean, that's what we just did. I mean, it's just like you were lame if you weren't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Peer pressure actually led me to do a lot of bullshit for sure, and then eventually I was the one doing the peer pressure stuff. You gotta
Right. Good.
You gotta
Good.
do it.
You
Yeah.
completed the cycle.
All right,
Very
each
good.
one teach one. 5%er shit. So yeah, but man, like I don't have much of any other questions
Okay.
for you and stuff like that. I was just excited to get with you and talk shit a little bit.
Nice.
Usually at the end of these things, I ask kind of like a quick kind of couple of questions. Just to get a temperature check
Okay.
about things. So let me just rifle off a few
Sure.
a few questions for you. Do you have like a dream collab? What's up?
He's just
Young man?
in his own world. He's gone to bed, looking at his phone in the bed. That's awesome. Dream collabos.
Yeah, like a dream collab. Not like a person who's not with us anymore, but like somebody that you would like to collab with still to this day?
Mm.
Or have we all given up on Ghostface?
He's cooked.
Yeah,
I would want to do a joint with like Ray and Aesop. That would be amazing.
Oh, tight.
I feel like
would be
that is like more potentially in my wheelhouse to happen. Would be like Ray and Ghost, and then like maybe on production. Who would be a cool producer to do that type of record with? I would love to go through like DJ Shadow's discs. I think that would be interesting. I would be curious to see what I could pull from that guy, because I feel like he doesn't get rap props, but he can make crazy bangers. So
he made
I would
that
like to do
Run
that.
the Jewels joint.
Yeah, that was a monster song.
That was fire.
Yeah, that would be fun. I would love to do something like that. That'd be dope.
Who thoughts on Capadonna? I know you got like 90s.
I love Kappa.
Yeah,
Love Kappa.
I feel like he's underrated. I love Capadonna.
He's incredibly underrated.
Yeah, like
he's like an oddball.
champion.
Yeah, he was a big inspiration when I made 96 Mentality, because I remember I was listening to The Pillage and just really admiring, like when you're younger and you're tapping in, you don't know why you're drawn to things, but you're just like, something about this. As an older man, I was like, I just love his zest and his zeal for rapping. Like him and Method Man, it's like they couldn't ever be anything else. Like they are just like pure vessels for rap. Like Rock Marcy's kind of like that too. Like that guy is just a vessel, and he's just the conduit. So Kappa to me, like I saw him do when they did the hip hop 50 at Yankee Stadium a couple years back, and like for the Woo medley part, he came out with this bubble yum jacket, like this leather. It had bubble yum like with the pink and from the packaging, but on a jacket. I was like, the
Poppy wardrobe king.
Like that. I love how much flavor and style. Even if you look at old pictures of him, like everything looks incredible. You know what I mean? So like that's everything. He is just in a walking embodiment, and he's aged really. Like the album covers not so much, but has his outfits. Like he's a good Instagram follow. I'll put it like that.
Yeah,
outfits incredible.
I didn't listen to anything. I saw the Tarzan album
cover.
That's
tough.
Like, he should have went to he shouldn't have went to Fiverr for that one. He only paid $1 off of Fiverr for that shit. I don't know what he was thinking, but I'm a huge fan of Kappa.
People were talking.
That's true. That's true. I'm a huge fan of old Kappa. Like just his slang usage and some of the word combinations, falling out the sky, talk sniper, like man, like fire. Just
wordplay falling out my ass like shit. What's the one he said? He said, what's the line on Verbal Murder when he says like, "I live inside the TV. These words is hot sauce." Like what? That is like a crazy phrasing. I live inside the TV. These words is hot sauce. Put your mind back together. Wow.
that's yeah, the poet laureate of his time. Like,
Jesus.
it's amazing. I think that's one of the reasons that like I kind of miss the direction that Ghost did on Supreme Clientele, because it was so strange and abstract. And when he went subsequent albums, he got more and more like
Standard.
forward.
Yes,
standard.
like standard.
And
right.
but yo, like, yeah, I used to love even You God. Like, I was a huge Wu fan up until probably
You slept
like
on.
Digital Bullet.
Yeah.
Up until Digital Bullet, I feel like I was they started doing wrong with the W and Iron Flag, but
Yeah, I know.
yo, like, man, I even like that first You God album and shit.
Yeah, it's banging.
Yeah,
Golden
they got
Arms
some-
Redemption.
Yeah, that
How
shit is
bizarre.
fire.
Just blazed at that beat.
Yeah, I forget the song titles, but yeah, Read the Blueprint. Yeah, he's fucking You God is ill, man.
He is.
Yeah, but let's see, what else do I got? Rank these MCs. I think
Okay.
I've already asked you this, but this has been
Okay.
my go-to one for years. Dell,
Okay.
the
Mhm.
Funky Homo Sapien,
Mm-hmm.
Inspector Deck,
Mm-hmm.
Big Boy from Outkast.
Are we talking like all time or like certain eras?
I feel like you could put it to whatever you want,
Okay.
like based upon their rap skills or
Mhm.
career or
Okay.
like anything.
I would put Deck 1 only because he and Cannabis were the reason I started rapping. Like those two guys specifically. So I can't ever front on Deck, just for personal significance. I know there's people that are like real diehard Del fans from the first two records in Deltron, and I'm a big Deltron guy, but I think
I'm a big
I've just
90s Dell up into Deltron. I love
yeah
his
yeah
whole 90s run, top 5
Yeah.
90s all time.
it's crazy. But I think I've just enjoyed and spent way more time with Big Boy. But I think Dell's a better rapper than Big Boy, but I think Big Boy he's been a part of like some of the most interesting art, just period. Even if you think he's like extremely lesser than three stacks, but he went along for the ride as the guy that's like, I'm rocking the retro jerseys and going to strip clubs, but I'll get on, Bombs Over Baghdad. Like I'm game, and I think that's really cool. Like he's fearless.
I've always been like a Big Boy truther, like because Andre gets so much praise, deservedly so.
Right.
But I'm always like, yo, Big Boy is fire too. Like all the like
he's like how Havoc and Mobb Deep,
Right. I think that's a fair comparison.
Like you
Don't
just
do
happen
that.
to stand next to like one of the three best guys to ever rap.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
like Prince
and-
Poe and OK.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Here's one: Aesop Rock or Rock Marciano.
Oh God! Wow.
They're
Aesop
both
was,
like perfect MCs, like, and producers too.
yeah.
Both
Yeah.
have like what 10
Yeah.
incredible, 13 incredible albums, pieces of
Yeah.
work. It's a,
I always thought Aesop was like the Tim Duncan of rap, where it's just like 20 points, 10 rebounds every year for 20 years, like never off. I think Marcy, like when Marsberg came out, and I was lucky enough to do a song with him right when Marsberg came out. It's called Youngblood. He's just he phrases things where you're like, why did I never think of all these ill pairings? But then Aesop will do things you could never imagine, and then he'll hit you with like something so direct. So he'll have all these incredible weird visual pieces, and then be like, that's all, folks. Like, you know what I mean? At the end, he always hits you with like the prize.
right.
I would say I can't front. It has to be Aesop. Like he's a big deal for me. But man, Marcy's incredible. I love Marcy.
I just was thinking about that lately because people are really on this new rock that just dropped.
It's really cool.
A lot of
Yeah, it's really
people
cool.
enjoy it. And I actually really enjoy it too. But I was stumbling back into the last Aesop joint. It's a Mess Out Here, and it just seems like he's just kind of like rapping. Like not a concept track really.
No.
It's just like there's themes and ideas that relate to the song titles and shit. But I'm just like, he's so different now than he was on Floater Labor Days, but he still maintains this like truly uncanny ability like that nobody else does.
Right.
But he can do it all. He does the fun, He does the storytelling.
Yeah.
He does the
The aging.
abstract. He
Talks about aging.
braggadocio.
Yep.
Yeah, like everything. And he's been my favorite MC for such a long time, and I'm just feel fortunate that he hasn't let me down. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? 'Cause
He's
all
in my
other-
top 5. He's in my personal top 5.
So many of my other hip hop heroes have just disappointed me. Like,
Yeah.
man, I love Ghost, man. I love Ghost so
Yeah,
much.
but-
And I had a girl have me watch his celebrity couples therapy.
Oh, that was
or
a
whatever,
disaster.
and
I
was
watched
like,
that. I was heartbroken, bro. That was tough.
I was like,
that was a tough watch.
It's like I just cannot condone this buffoonery.
It was
like,
it was brutal. He was like 40 at the time. I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah,
Come on, bro.
yeah. It's like how, like, I mean, I know I'm an idiot and shit, but like, yo, like, how can you feel good about? Like, do you think it's cool to act like this
Yeah.
in
Yes.
public? Like,
Correct.
obviously,
Yes.
obviously, yeah. Yeah, man. Pour a little out for Ghostface, man. I'll miss him forever. Like,
I came very
um,
close to getting a Ray and Ghost tattoo, and Alaska's like, "Don't do it." And I was like, "Why?" He's like, "Ghostface, don't do it." He's gonna do worse stuff as time goes on. I was like, "God damn it, you're
Well,
right."
He's got a gay son or LGBTQ
Yeah.
kid, and he's
Yeah.
like dropping super homophobic F slurs
Yeah.
on wax. Like,
Always, yeah.
even if you feel that way, like, bro, like, why would you? I think he just doesn't have any creativity, so he just pulls from the old well of what he thought was cool. Like,
Correct.
yeah, yeah. Read a book, bro.
Hard
Like,
pass,
maybe
bro.
learn a couple, like, some new vocabulary or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, he kind of stopped, whereas like Aesop kept finding new, interesting ways to age and still be really nice. Same thing with Rock Marcy. Like he kept finding new, interesting things to do.
Yeah.
Whereas Ghost is like, "Hey, I'm Ghostface. Remember,
Yeah.
remember Ice Cream? Remember All I Got Is You? Hey."
That's right. Supreme Clientele 2 coming out. Remember Supreme Clientele? You loved
Sure.
that, did you?
Yeah, it's corny.
Yeah, I'm done with it. Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
who would be like your most disappointing hip hop hero?
Who would be?
Who's a disappointing? I think it's probably Ghost and RZA for me, to be honest. RZA for different reasons, but
RZA. I'll go because he became what you never want to be. He became corny, and That's like calling an athlete soft. Like you can't be corny in any parts of hip hop. Like you can be like, oh, it's maybe not his best, but he's just corny, and that's sad.
that describes a lot, like his political takes, like the
Everything.
way like he just thinks he's really smart, and he'd be like, "Yo, let me do the science for you." It's like, bro, this is not science at all. Like,
Nah,
like,
I'm good,
come
bro.
on, man.
I'm good.
Yeah, super corny. But how Burb in general. Let's wrap up. Let me wrap up with one more question about your monikers, right?
Okay.
So Fast Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I the name is tied to several different things. I place it with the color of money.
Yep.
The film with Tom Cruise, Paul Newman, where he's Fast Eddie
Mm-hmm.
in it. Where did the where are you pulling the name from? Because I guess it was an actual pool player as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
So in my life, my uncle was like one of the greatest like amateur pool players in Philly and in the world.
Oh, shit.
So he used to always take me to this pool hall in Philly called Mosconi's, which is named after Willie Mosconi. And he would like do trick shots, hustle people, like all that. And then when I got older, I would just go to pool halls and I would like play Street Fighter or just like hang out. And I would be like around Asian dudes, Filipino dudes, black dudes. Like I was just like before hip hop, that was my way to be with a lot of just folks that didn't look like me, which is cool. And that was just the thing to do. You just go to pool halls. Your day off from school, you go to a pool. So I was like, not like a great player, but I was just in that environment a ton. So when we did Money Has No Owners with Chong, like he thought it'd be kind of cool, like to lean into that because we had the song called At the Pool Hall.
Yeah.
And so for the Midnight Suns, like a continuation of the first record, and he kind of leaned into like the color of money with the artwork. I'm like, cool. So when I did this one, Fast Eddie, it was originally going to be Vegas Vic too. And I was like, I don't want to make it two. I want to do something different. So the name Fast Eddie to me was like tied into that as well, from kind of like a carryover from Money Has No Owners. But then Fast Eddie was just like a nickname I had when I used to deliver pizza. So the guys would call me that because I would just be outpacing these old retirees that were delivering pizza. I would just be coming back and forth, making money, go back out, be in the car like freestyling or like banging the Clips album or something, and they would be like, "Oh, Fast Eddie's back again! Come on, Ed!" Like they would just call me
Hey.
that. So I had it as a nickname from that, and then I just thought it was an ill continuation, kind of like this. I said on another show, like it's like an unofficial trilogy, kind of like how Tom Waits did, like Mark's Wild Years and Swordfish from Bones and Rain Dogs. So to me, this is like Vegas Vic, Money Has No Owners, Fast Eddie. It's like it's like a loose trilogy in my mind. So it's pulled like from like even Vegas Vic. That was like the name. It was in the Philadelphia Daily News. They would give the gambling picks, like Vegas Vic's pack of picks, and I was like, cool. And so when I was making that record, I was like, this record is really about betting on ourselves. We're not like on a big label. We don't have big stars and big budget. It's just me and the homies. And so that's kind of like been the mindset, especially with the label. Like the more I risk I take, you know, the more risk I'm cool. I'm good with taking. Like I'm not as shuffled in to being like, I don't want to do that. So I feel like that's what it's been. So even so when I did this record, it's like I was saying to Barry, we were gonna come to something where the title was gonna be, and I kept being like, nah, it needs to be called Fast Eddie. I think that's, and one day he was like that, yes. He was hesitant, and he was like, one day he was like, no, you're right, like that fits. That's a better framing of it. So I was like, okay. And you were asking me something about Bourbon Generals, and that was like, that was me, Prem, and Barry linking up at Dove's crib over the years, and we would just bring something to eat and drink and smoke and write on the spot. And originally it was just going to be called like the Bourbon General. That was going to be the record. So then we, as time is going on, I've like cherry picked those sessions for my albums, and I get the blessing from Prem. He's like, oh yeah, let's do it. You know, so that was originally going to, so when we have like a Bourbon Generals chat, you know, like whatever. So that's just like us three, our little thing. It is like way before Shrapnel. So that's like an open door thing for us to work and do crap. You know what I mean? But it's like, to me, it's always like tied into real personal things that make a lot of sense to me. So I'm always fascinated when people that don't know that, like how they digest it. So like when you guys did the review, I was like, oh, this is cool. This is an interesting way to parse it apart. You know, the other guys hadn't seen the movies. I'm like, oh, I'd be curious if they saw The Hustler and The Color of Money, what they thought. There's another one called Mississippi Grind. You should peep that shit with Ryan Reynolds and Ben Mendelsohn. Yo, that is a banger. And same thing, like guys moving around, Mississippi Grind. Prem's a big fan of that as well. Peep that joint. You'll like that. Yeah, Mississippi Grind's dope.
No, like you know, one of the cool things about the movie The Color of Money with Fast Eddie, and I also think that Dano kind of talks about this in the Bandcamp description, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, it's an interesting movie, especially compared to like the pacing and the approach of modern filmmaking, the way it like doesn't give you the like right payoff, and it's like this aging hustler who is in a way, he's like, he cuckolds himself, you know, he's too confident, falls off, and he realizes, oh, I got to make some adjustments here. Let me get my eyes checked. I'm back on my Dean. I'm about to whoop these kids' asses.
Yes.
And I felt like, oh, that's an appropriate thing for an aging MC.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. I was cognizant of that, calling it that as well. And that idea, because like in the movie, he's got the tinted glasses. He's got like the V-neck. Like he's dressed like how my grandfather used to dress every day. Yeah. So when I watch that, I always think like he's a cooler pool shark version of my grandfather. And it's like the typical, you know, the wizened old mentor with the hothead know-it-all young talent who has no experience but can't be told shit. So it's kind of like, you know, like Dan always said, like every album I make, I'm like making peace or re-examining my past self. So to me, there's like parts of that with the Paul Newman making those realizations about himself in the Tom Cruise character. And then to your point, like feeling confident enough to be like, no, it's not over for me. Like I'm seeing the fire this kid has. I still can do that. And I got 20 years experience on top of this kid. I'll cook him. So like, that's the fun part. And I kind of get like that when I do live shows, because I'm always like, I'm on bills with people that do all these different styles and vibes. And I'm like, yo, I've been on stages for 20 fucking years. I'm good. Like I'm going to handle this. And you're going to walk away being like, who the fuck was that? Or, damn, you're my man. Like, wow. And I'm like, I don't need to worry about shit. I'm not stressing. I'm just talking to you and doing dope ass shit. You're going to get it right away. and that's what I feel like Paul Newman when I actually do shows.
Shout out to old folks that used to dress like that. You
Hell
know what I
yeah,
mean?
dude.
My dad never wore a pair of sneakers or wear a pair of jeans until he was like in his late 60s. Always, had the the nice boots and everything. And
Hell
shout
yeah.
out to, because my dad was born in 1941. He was quite old.
OG.
Right? And so yeah, he's like an old, black man. And it's like, I remember being like 5 years old, sitting at the bar, got a Shirley Temple,
Hell yeah.
play on the tabletop,
Cigarette smoke
Pac-Man
everywhere,
game,
bro.
cigarette
Cigarettes
smoke,
everywhere.
a bunch of old dudes playing pool and smoking.
And see,
and
that's
talking
what
shit.
that's my album cover harkens back to,
Yeah.
that time. So
Yeah.
like that's a real house in South Philly, and I feel like that's, if you're of this age, and especially if you're from the East Coast, people like, so many people will be like, oh, I know that, like that's my grandmother's house, or like my uncle, or like I seen those houses in the Bronx or Philly, wherever. And I'm like, we're the last connective generation to like an analog life.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it's interesting. Like, we were saying like cigarette smoke and drinking and fucking doing crazy shit. And it's like now everything's like clean, polished, and it's sanitized online, algorithmically shown. Whereas like my grandfather would wear a friggin' V-neck yellow Lacoste sweater with slacks to sit on the couch and smoke cigarettes and watch MASH.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all he was
Yeah,
doing.
yeah.
That's it. That's all he did. You know what I mean?
Same. My dad, you got the OnlyFans, the 3/4 zip, joints, and wore a watch in the house and shit. Like, all
Always.
right, man, like you're doing a lot. Smoking
Always.
indoors all day, carpeted staircases, shit like that. Yeah,
Always.
man. Shout out to us.
Hell yeah.
Aging, yeah.
I love it.
But man, again, this was so fun. I appreciate
awesome.
you coming on to chat with me. I'm gonna put this out maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow night.
Cool.
And I'll share the link in the Discord once it's out and whatnot. But
Bet.
congratulations on all your success, fam. So
Thanks, pal.
glad to see it working out for you, and I love to see the reception of you and all the homies work. You guys are so ill, and we'll get it again later this year. Hey,
Thanks, Mac.
and if y'all need me for that TV show bracket, I'm
right.
ready to argue.
It might be a draft. We might do it as
Okay,
a draft instead. So you would draft a team based on, because we get the next tournament we got coming up is white people sayings, the Field of 64. You barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, you know what I mean. Get a load of this guy,
grass, buddy.
Yeah, I don't give a rat's ass.
Oh, here's a goated one. I'm making a citizen's arrest. I'm making a citizen's arrest.
I'm making a citizen. That's classic.
Yeah, but
you're the best, bro. I appreciate you, man. Shouts to Tokyo. Shouts to everybody, guys.
Peace, see you.
Peace, brother.
Farewell.
Thanks, dude. Peace.